Yeah. Let's talk more about like what the experience is for kids coming in.
Yeah. So, and I forgot to tell you, there was, I had a pastor call me yesterday. He was really, really excited about the tutoring aspect because he said he's Hispanic and he's got a big heart for Hispanic teens that need tutoring with like their different subjects in English as a second language. And he was really, really, when he heard that we were interested in offering that, he really wants to partner with us too.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, to give you his information, but.
So we might be able to get even more. We already had 2 tutors lined up, so this might be 3. So tell me, like, I'm a kid, I'm a middle school, high school kid, I'm coming in. What's the experience that I should expect coming into 508?
Yeah, so I would love it. I would love to just be a place for kids, any kids, middle school, high school that just want to come after school and hang out for a while, especially for those kids that like maybe their home life isn't, a place that feels safe for them. I'd love this to be their safe place, with people that they feel care about them. But just a place where you can kind of come, grab a drink, grab some food. I definitely want to fill kids up, for hopefully not too much money, and, give them a place to just, throw their bag and play some games or maybe do some homework. And have them know that this is for them, that they don't have to like feel worried about, loitering or that they have to buy something every half hour or something, that they can just, that this was built for them. It is their space. So, and then also like interact with people and not, maybe for kids that have to maybe go home to an empty house, this would be an alternative to that where they can be around people, and they can, also hear the good news about Jesus.
Yeah. So I want to dive into that a little bit more, but first the experience of being here, right? That we're going to have tutors that are going to volunteer maybe once or twice a week, that you'll have tutors for different subjects. So that way, if you're struggling in math or you're struggling in English or you're struggling in general, maybe with this guy who's bilingual, who could help kids that English is not their first language. So you get some resources there. If you're struggling with some school stuff and you want help, definitely nothing forced, right? But it's there. It'll be available. And then we'll have ping pong, maybe foosball. We're kind of playing around what all the games are.
The kids are telling me they like pool better than foosball, so I don't know.
Yeah, maybe pool. We'll see. Maybe take some votes. But you'll have some in the back room. We'll have a spot where we'll have games like those types of games. We're going to have, maybe you can see behind me over here, maybe just on the edge, you'll have a bookcase where we'll have board games and card games. So you can sit down and you can play Catan, or you can play Monopoly, or you can play Risk, or any number of games that you might want to play, in Rummy or Crib. So you can play games with your friends, play games with people that are just hanging out, meet new friends while you're playing. Possibly on the weekends, we might have someone you could play the guitar or play piano, some live music that would just be a fun experience, and just to hang out and be with friends, right? Like, so that's kind of the vibe. And we're going to have people that'll be here that will be facilitating to make sure that, hey, everything's, stays calm, right? Like we don't want to, and make sure that it's a safe place for kids to hang out, and that if they need help, there'll be safe and confident adults that can help them, right? And that concept would be to give them hope, because that's really what we're about. Is we want to share the love of Christ, the hope of Christ with young people. And so that would be the goal, is that if kids are lost and hurting, that there's somebody here that can talk to them. But it's for sure not like going to church, right?
Well, you're right. I mean, the point of this is not to create another church building, because, there's a lot of kids that do go to church. They learn a lot of important things there. But I would love to create a space for maybe those kids that wouldn't step inside a church, kids that maybe wouldn't go to those places. And this is another place for them to be able to hear.
Right. Well, and to just be comfortable, right? Like that, like this is us just being open to everybody. Like there's not like there's no prerequisites. There's no, you come in, enjoy the sitting. If you want to talk to somebody about life, if you want to talk to somebody about your struggles, we'll have people around to talk to you about that. If you just want a cup of coffee and play a game, have a cup of coffee and play a game. That's really, I think, the big focus is just creating an inviting, safe place for kids to come and hang out.
Yeah, I really definitely want to put the emphasis on the fact that they are loved, right? Because I do feel in our area, and it's probably nationwide, I would guess, but the amount of kids that just feel hopeless and don't feel seen. And,
I think that's an interesting point to bring up. They don't feel seen because, I mean, we say loved, whatever, and I think sometimes that can be kind of almost like it's almost overused, where it's like, what does it mean, right? Like, but I think that seen idea is important. I think that there's a lot of kids, friends of our kids that I've talked to, even that they will feel that way. That you can just tell, like, spending the time to have a conversation with them and being interested in who they are and what's going on in their lives, it's like they like perk up, like, wow, right? Because I think there are a lot of people who don't feel seen, and maybe not unique to youth. And there's definitely people of all ages that need to know that they're seen and they're cared about. But I think for us, we're focused on the middle school, high school, and I think that is a huge issue. You're seen, you're heard, you're cared about, and I think that's important. That's what the gospel is really about. Like, people want to make Christianity about a lot of things, but really, when you boil it down, it's that you have a God that loves you. He sees you. He cares about you. He cares enough about you that he came and died for you. And the concepts or the things that people want to create about religion, about all of these do's and don'ts and rules, like, there is things that God expects for sure, right? Like every good parent does, but it's for your good. It's not for his purposes. It's not because he needs you to do it for him. He wants to do things because it's what's best for you. But people have created a lot of rules around religion that have made people feel like that's who God is. And that's not who God is. God's not about creating tons of rules to try to make you jump through. He fulfilled all the rules because he loves you and he wants to know you. So I don't know. We won't go too deep into theology because I think I as I was talking there, I was like, okay, there's a lot that we could unpack on that, and that's not really. I don't want to go too deep into that. It's not the purpose here, and that's really not the purpose of 508 is to go deep into theology, because we're not, like you said, we're not creating another church building. We're not creating another space.
If kids want to have those discussions here,
oh sure, that
would be awesome.
But yeah, sure. If a kid wants to talk about theology, I would be happy to talk with them about it. But I'll be happy to talk with kids about whatever they want to talk about. And I think that's scary for a lot of people, but I think it's invigorating because it's not like there's something that you're like, oh, can't talk about that. Like, there's some crazy things and we'll talk about them if that's what they want to. I'm not going to push that on kids to be like, you have to talk to me about this, but well,
that's the thing we notice with our teenagers too, right? Like, you can try to pull information out of them and get them to talk. That's never very effective.
Yeah.
It's when you listen to them and you wait for the right moment, and it's usually 11:30 at night, and then boom, they're just like word vomiting and telling you everything and more than you want to know. But it's a lot of it is timing, opportunity, and they have to know that you're
Yeah.
wanting to listen.
So, if somebody's interested, if they're local, as people listen to this all over the place. So, I mean, if you're not local and you're interested, still you reach out to me, send me an email at theagentinsider@gmail.com. If you're interested in volunteering or supporting, it is a nonprofit. Let us know. We'll get you that information as well. You can email me. I'll get you in touch with Becky, and that way she can help you get connected in however you want to get connected. If you have questions about why are we doing it, or what did we do? If you're interested in doing it in your community, be happy to share more details about some of those pitfalls. And a lot of that's going to be individual to the state and the county that you're dealing with. But definitely share more about our heart with you on that, because I think it's an awesome thing. It's something I hope to see sprout up all over. I've heard lots of people, and I'll end with this before we go. There was a lot of people that have started things similar to this, and I think that was what was interesting. I talked to a lot of people that are like, "Oh, I know so and so had this idea in Oregon, or I know so and so had this idea someplace else," and there was places that had that idea here in Lynden, even similar ideas, maybe not exactly the same, but very similar. And most of them don't ever open. And I know some have. I've heard of other ones that have. Most of them don't, though. Most people I've talked to are like, somebody had the idea, but then nothing ever happened. And I will tell you, if it's something that you're looking at doing, especially if you're walking into something like this without a lot of restaurant and coffee experience, it's a hard, long road. And over the last almost 5 years, there's been a lot of times where we've thought about, are we doing the right thing? And should we still be doing this?
It's like starting anything though, right? Like, what was it Elon Musk said, that if you need encouragement, you shouldn't do it?
Yeah. Well, I think you have to buckle.
Hard.
It is hard. I don't know if I completely agree with that, because I think that there are things that are good that sometimes you just need to know you can make it, right? And you do need that encouragement to say, don't give up. If you're that you can make it through it, other people have, and so can you. Because I think that's ultimately, I saw a meme the other day. I sent it to a friend of mine who was having a rough day. And it said, remember, you've made it through 100% of the worst days of your life.
So far,
if you're watching this. And I think that's an important reminder, is that you can do it.
Yeah.
You can get through it. There was, I said in closing now, I was like, we're going to wrap up here. And then I'm like, oh, we're not wrapping up. There was, we saw one of the guys from SEAL Team 6 talk.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah. The lone survivor.
No, that was a different guy. It's the SEAL Team 6 guy. But he was talking about training, because you train, then you train for the SEALs, and then SEAL Team 6 was like next level of SEAL training, right? And he was talking about going through that training, and the best piece of advice he said he ever got was, he said, you're gonna feel like quitting, and you're gonna want to quit because it's hard and it sucks. And he said, just remind yourself every day, you can quit tomorrow. And he said that's what got him through SEAL Team 6 training, is the concept of like, you can quit tomorrow. And I think that's so important for us, because I think I've felt that in my life at times, where you feel discouraged and you feel frustrated and you feel like I'm failing at everything and it's not working. And I had these big ideas of what was going to be. And then here we are 4 years later. If we rewind a year ago, the inside of this did not look like this. And we were like, man, like this isn't working. It's costing a lot of money and it feels like it's moving at a snail's pace. And I reminded myself, like, okay, I'm going to quit tomorrow. And then tomorrow you go, okay, I'm going to quit tomorrow. And sometimes that's all you need to do, is just to remind yourself, you can get through today. You don't have to get through tomorrow. And if you get through today, you can accomplish great things.